My name is Sondra Kelly. I am the owner of the Loopy Leaf in Charleston, West Virginia. I went vegan in 2015 after a bad health diagnosis. And then I started doing all this research on plant-based food and how it could help your health and how it could help your life. And then I just went down the wormhole, watched all the documentaries that I could find, and then started getting into animal activism and how important it is for us to really take charge and be responsible with the money that we spend and influence the market however we can to try to eliminate some of these cruelties that are happening in the world. And then, of course, after you go through your animal activism phase, you get into the environmental phase and you learn everything that you're doing as what we're taught from society as a whole when we're children growing up, that it's completely destructive. So I think there's really truly three pillars to being vegan. I think it's health, animal activism, and then of course environmentalism. So I was actually told by a doctor that a plant-based diet limits the ability for your body to produce free radical cells. I had cancer, and free radical cellular growth can be fought with phytochemicals, and it is fed with insulin growth factor 1 protein. So by eliminating insulin growth factor 1 protein from your diet and having an influx of phytochemicals in your body, you essentially make your body a place where it's almost impossible for free radical cellular growth to occur. So that was the reason. I had a great dermatologist. She was wonderful. It was basal cell sarcoma and melanoma that I had. So it wasn't like, the most catastrophic thing that could happen, but I was so young when it happened. It was really kind of one of those things. It's like, hey, if you want to live the rest of your life and if you want to have a great long life and you want to be healthy and you want to make it, then let's make the right choices now and let's make the right decisions. So it really started as a health-based decision. Then just from there it kind of blossomed.
Are you completely in remission?
Totally. I had 19 surgeries, 0 medication, completely cancer-free.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that all occurred within about 15 months.
Wow.
So yeah.
So did you notice anything else?
I did. I immediately lost weight. I lost weight in places that I was carrying that was so weird. But then when you think about why you're carrying weight in those places and what you're consuming, if you're consuming dairy still, those things are full of hormones, obviously, because you have to be a mother to give birth and you have to be a mother to give milk. So those hormones are going to show up in places in women's bodies that, are going to immediately start losing weight when you stop consuming dairy. So yeah, I noticed a lot of changes in my diet. I slept better. A lot of I know I still have dark circles under my eyes, but that's because I own a restaurant. But they went away a lot actually. Yeah, just a lot of things. I got a ton more energy. And the weirdest thing that I can say about going vegan that I don't think anybody really even shines a light on is that right before an animal goes through that process where they're getting ready to be, killed, we all have that fight or flight. We all have that thing in our body where we're like, oh shit, you have that angst. Your glands in your brain release these chemicals into your body, and the same thing happens to animals. And when you're consuming animal flesh, you're consuming that fear, you're consuming that rage, you're consuming that fight or flight that the animal's feeling in the moment that they're meeting their demise. One of the weirdest things I noticed when I went vegan is I just felt more peaceful. It's like some angst left me. It's like some anxiety left me. It's just, and I think part of the reason so many people are having all of these problems is because you're consuming too much of that chemical from, those animals that are on the kill floor.
What kind of challenges did you experience trying to take this on?
I lost a lot of friends because, I've always been into cooking and I've always had so many people come over to my house for Thanksgiving and for this and that. And actually I made the decision to go vegan 3 days before Thanksgiving. So, it's like I would have that house that everybody came over to that the huge buffet was at. And then, people just stopped coming over and I changed the food. But you know what? I made a whole new set of friends and some of my old friends kind of changed along with me and that was good too. But I think there's just a progression that you go through in life no matter what changes you make. You get married, you have a kid, you move, you whatever. There's always going to be changes that you happen in your life. So I would say to anyone considering going vegan, if you're scared of losing friends or if you're scared of changes that are going to happen in your life because of it, don't be, because changes happen all the time anyway. If you're considering going vegan, just look up all of the information that you can possibly find. Just try to figure out any information you need on your own. There's so many resources now. There's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's other people that I'm sure that that are vegan. Just reach out and ask other people for help and ask other people for advice. And there's no vegan who's short on giving advice, and there's no vegan who's not willing to talk to you about going vegan. So even if you are just trying to make a change and being a little more plant-based, or even if you're trying to make a change and do just one meatless Monday or something like that, there's so many resources. You can also find them on PETA. The Humane Society also has some great resources that they're willing to send to you for free if you want. But again, just go to your local vegan restaurant and talk to people, or look it up on YouTube, Facebook. Plenty of resources.
Tell us a little bit about your restaurant.
My restaurant, so this is actually my second fully vegan restaurant. I opened Kelly Farm Kitchen in 2018, and that was West Virginia's first 100% vegan restaurant.
Wow.
That restaurant has gotten wonderful reviews. It's done really, really well. I experienced a divorce early last year, and my husband was also my business partner. So I gave him Kelly Farm Kitchen when I left, and he's still up and running it, and it's going great. And I'm so proud of him for that. Everything is really, really, really cool. But I came here to Charleston. I found a love. We both have great new lives now. And I didn't know, I couldn't think of anything else that I would rather do than open another vegan restaurant. So I found this wonderful space, and here we are.
So what kind of stuff you got on the menu?
I have over 100 menu items. It's a very big menu. It's like a diner almost. I've got appetizers, tostadas, tacos, the Beyond Bratwurst, chicken sandwiches, burgers. We serve both Beyond and Impossible burgers. I do house-made crab cake, house-made barbecue jackfruit, house-made tuna. We have tons of salads that we sell. We got hot dogs, boneless wings, pretzels, craft beer on tap. All of our beer is vegan too. It comes from a local brewer in Charlestown, West Virginia, that's Abolitionist Ale Works. We even have gluten-free beer on tap. So we're also nut-free and celiac friendly. So it's a really cool restaurant for a lot of people to eat at that just have kids with allergies, or it's a really cool place. I would say probably 90% of our customers are not vegan. So It's great feeling like you can plant some seeds. I have really steady hours. We are Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 8. Friday and Saturday, we're 11 to 9, and Sunday, we're 10 to 4. The best place to look us up is on Google or Facebook. We have a great Facebook page. I pay very close attention to that. And we're also on Instagram, so you can message us directly too if you want. And all the messages come just directly to me. It's just me and 4 other girls that work here, so I have a wonderful staff that's behind me too. So.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's important for other people to go vegan?
I do. I think slowly, obviously the population of Earth is growing, and that equates to increased consumption of meat, which equates to increased emissions from it, more factory farms, more horrific things that happen in those factory farms, more animal death. There's 8 billion animals on the planet every day that are fed corn, soy, and wheat to, just to be slaughtered. And we're getting at a maximum 8 to 10% of those calories back in meat form for that. If we fed every human on Earth all the corn, soy, and wheat that we feed the animals that we're slaughtering, we would solve world hunger 10 times over. It's a no-brainer. I mean, it makes no sense for us to not switch over to, a completely meat-free society. And I get it. I'm realistic. I'm not, living on another planet or thinking that this is something that's completely impossible. I think we are going to eventually, as a species, either wipe the planet out, or we're going to get to a point where we realize we got to turn this thing around. And I think the first solution to doing that is to stop consumption of animal products. It's just, it really is. It's gone too far. It's ridiculous.
Could you be with somebody who isn't vegan?
No.
You answered that before I even finished the
question. Yeah, no way. No way.
How do you deal with family members during the holidays that aren't vegan?
So my parents are pretty much the only family that I have, and they are extremely respectful. So anytime I go over, obviously I'm the chef as well, they're happy to eat whatever I prepare. So we have completely vegan holidays. But you know what? Like the Gardein holiday roast, mashed potatoes, carrots, steamed vegetables, stuffing, sweet potato casserole, corn. That stuff is vegan anyway. It's not hard to swap out vegan butter or oat milk or, any of the things that make it not vegan. It seems really, really simple.
Why didn't you go vegan sooner?
I didn't know. And I think that's really important to share with people and to show people. I grew up eating meat too. Hell, I loved a steak. It was delicious. Who doesn't? But you know what? It's not worth it. it's not worth your health. It's not worth the cruelty. And once you understand what you're doing to the environment and what you're doing to the animals, once you know that, like, there's just no excuse.
Was there ever a time before you went vegan that you thought, there's no way I could go vegan?
No, I was a vegetarian from the time I was like 9 to 25, just because I was totally grossed out by meat. You know, I would always go to Subway and it was like the veggie delight, but I would put cheese on it. But I didn't know, you know, these things hadn't occurred to me because our society is so food pyramid driven and, you know, like meat and cheese centric and whatever. You're not told these things until somebody wakes you up. You're asleep at the wheel.
Do you worry about any specific nutrients?
No. I mean, I'm not starving to death. I've been vegan. You know what? So many people are so worried about protein.
Yeah.
And I could just gag from hearing that. You need less than 40 grams of protein per day. You can eat that by accident being vegan. I mean, like a burger, a bratwurst, whatever, a vegan chicken patty, whatever. They're all so high in protein. You can accidentally get your protein being vegan. I've never had any deficiencies of any kind. You know, and so many studies show that supplements don't even really aren't bioavailable, don't even absorb into your body the way that the bottle says they do.
Yeah.
You know?
Why do you think some people quit veganism?
I don't know that I can answer that in a nice political way. Laziness, lack of information, misinformation, poor influence from the people around them. I'm going to stop there because it could get bad, yeah.
Do you have any success stories you want to share? That you whether you were a part of the success story or
every
just
day,
observed?
every single day.
Yeah,
every single day somebody comes in here and eats a burger, and it's a whatever burger they pick off the menu, and they go, holy shit, that was the best burger I've ever had. You know, and almost every day that happens. But the times where it's the best is when it's someone that comes in that doesn't know we're a vegan restaurant and orders a burger and eats it and says that. And then we're like, yeah, well, not bad for a vegan burger, right? And then when they find out they just ate a vegan burger, they're like, this light bulb goes off in their head that, like, you know, and the best thing I can ever hear is someone tell me, if I could eat like this every day, I could be vegan, you know? And I'm like, well, you can. You know, I'm not a classically trained chef. I'm just making hamburgers and sandwiches, you know, like, so yeah. I think that's the best success stories. Every day it's just those little tiny seeds that sprout into, when you get those 2 little green leaves, you know, those first 2 green leaves, that's the most exciting part.
Is your doctor vegan?
She was not.
Oh, okay. Wow, but she still suggested that?
Yeah.
Wow, did she suggest vegan or just
No, more plant-based diet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now you went vegan though?
Yeah, well, I take everything to the absolute extreme.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and did you have, like, what was like the biggest, most influential thing that made you feel confident with that?
I watched Forks Over Knives. And then I watched What the Health, and then I watched something else, and then I can just remember I had to take a trip. I had to take like a 5-hour car ride, and on this car ride, I was just YouTubing Dr. Esselstyn and Dr. McGregor, and I just went down this wormhole of information. And it's like the more you learn, the more it's just completely like makes sense. So
I like how you put vegan all over everything. You know, some people are afraid to use that. Are you ever afraid to use that word?
I'm not afraid of anything.
That's great. How do you stay positive in such a sick world?
I build my own little bubble. I have great people around me. I have wonderful plants everywhere. You know, and I think I stay positive just knowing that I can make a change. Or, you know, I can only be responsible for myself. And I can only be responsible for helping the people that are immediately around me. And, you know, there are negative things that are happening in this world, but I have to have hope that they can change. I have to have hope that people can change, or that people can be educated and things can turn around. But I think your life becomes what you focus on. And if you focus on the positive, then you become positive and everything around you is. And if you dwell on the negativity, you just lay in bed and cry and hide until you die. And I don't want to live like that. I only get to live one time. I got one shot at this, so I'm gonna take every second I can and just make it the best I can.